Hey everyone, I wanted to make another video. This video is for entertainment and educational purposes only. But I've just been doing some thinking and observing of my life, and I've reflected on the experiences that I have had, coming into awareness of, those who are the tip-top oppressors look like me, or are Latina and Latino, are carbonated beings, are fallen Anunnaki goddesses or gods. And then taking a look at all of the moments in my life where I have felt pain, confusion, isolation, list goes on. And I do believe that this entire matrix is a reflection of their pain. For those who chose to leave with Zeus, going all the way back to then, and most definitely for those who were punished for whatever they did, whatever act or acts that they did that led to them being disconnected from the land, from all of nature, from the elements, from their crown, from the higher dimensions like Xylanthia, and whatever other realms that they may have been operating in, that they may have been a teacher in. So if they were disconnected and cut off, let's just say with their crowns, right? And our ether was way longer back in the day, so let's say it's going down. I mean, there are some people that still do this, but growing it down to your feet, right? Your ankles. You can no longer connect to the trees like they showed us how in Avatar. You're not connecting with each other because that element has been taken away from you. Because you proved that you couldn't be responsible based off of whatever choices that you were making. And then for those that willingly chose to leave with Zeus, and they were also disconnected. I imagine, though, I haven't had any downloads, but I imagine that for those that left during that time, they were given a little more of a heads up. If you do leave and want to move in that specific way, this is gonna be the, I don't want to say outcome, but terms and conditions. You can't have your gifts in this specific way and want to move in this specific way. The goddesses on Xylanthia, I imagine, would not have allowed that, but had enough compassion for those who they still created, that you have free will, but we can't allow you to abuse others with having full access to your gifts in this organic way. So what they do, they cut them off. If you can't go within in meditation and access these places that you could access before, this becomes weight, when it wasn't. And it just makes sense, it being the motivating factor to push bald-headed men and women in the fashion industry, and this is for years, to influence us to cut our hair and assimilate into those spaces where they are the ones running them. They are the ones with this information. What are some other ways to influence us to not grow our hair? saying that we can't have a job, saying we can't go to school, restricting access for certain institutions, potentially in school bullying people to stir them away from their natural crown, and keeping knowledge hidden. If they no longer could have access to more knowledge, then we definitely couldn't. So maybe you might be able to, in my case, looking back, I went to salons, but I wasn't educated on the fact of hydrating my crown daily, weekly, if you will, as well. That just was not a thing. And I know some of those stylists that I went to know this information, but it's okay for the hair to be dry. It's not okay for the hair to be dry and brittle to the point where it breaks. And it's not healthy. It's not strong. So keeping that information hidden, if they may have the information, but if they can't have access to the benefits of their hair, their crown, their ether, why should we? We shouldn't be able to. In regards to wings, for those that fell and have wings, were their wings cut off? Some of them. Or do they have full access? Regardless, I'm not walking around on the street seeing people with their wings out and about. Like I made that video on the Watcher, I'm not seeing that being and other beings that potentially have wings out and about. So we, for those of us who are these angels here that do have wings, because I believe there's those of us that do, those of us that don't, and it's not like a punishment thing, but there are some of us, for whatever the reason, either wanted wings, had wings, gone through more lessons than those of us that may not have gone through as many lessons or have gone through just as many, but we all have free will and we all have different desires, personalities, and a certain set of us may not want to have wings. So there's a difference in how we look, but people aren't just, flying around right now. So if they can't, we can. If they're disconnected, like I said, from nature and the elements, then that's been the reflection here, of, in my life, me not being able to tap into any of the elements or being stirred from all of that material and knowledge and being told, all the stuff that I've seen on TV is fake and it's not reality when it very much is reality. But if I can't do it and I can't celebrate with these cosmic spiritual forces, then no one can. And I'm not saying this is the mind and, more importantly, where the heart was and is for every single one of the oppressors, but I believe that is one, the majority, and two, the energy behind how they're moving or have moved, right? Because this Kundalini energy is rising, and I also choose to believe that those that have had all this information, it's changing some of them, impacting some of them, and how they were feeling and getting them to reflect on the amount of enslavement that we have endured. If they can't refuel by going inside themselves, if they lost the organic way of being able to do that, they now have to, I can't even say relearn, but learn how to refuel their body energetically in a whole different way. And I'm not going to state what that looked like early on in the beginning, but it then reached a point where, for a certain sect of them, they refuel by feeding off of our essence, off of our energy, off of our life force. So if they can't go within and refuel, none of us can go within and refuel. Keeping the knowledge of meditation and different practices. It's not like every school out here, public or private, starts the day with a daily meditation and finishes the day with the daily meditation, and maybe there's some midday meditation to refuel our bodies. You know what I mean? Not like that at all. Those that, were either kicked off or aligned with Zeus were allowed a certain sect of the land, and before they had free reign. And now it's okay, you can stay over here, but you can't come over here where you're causing chaos. Because none of us want that. Whoever was here for the physical, in the physical when this was all going down. So they had freedom in the sense of the land, full reign, to now you can only be over here. And it could have been, a lot of the land, but there was still a shift. And being told you can't be in this other part. And now looking at where we are and how enslaved we are, we don't even own land. My ancestors owned land. I believe they owned land somewhere who walked in the physical here in Kenya. But I don't own any land. The people I know, my friends, who I consider family here, don't own land. People have houses and they own property. But again, referring back to the book of Word Magic, the Power and Occult Definition of Words, chapter 5, speaking about mortgages, you really don't even own your house. The state owns your house if you sign that legal document as that legal corporation that they view you as, because they view you as a dead body. So we still do not own land. We can't, since we don't have that, we can't grow our own food and have our own agriculture systems where we can be independent from the system, but we can be interconnected with each other as a community. Whew. So, if they can only have a certain set of the land and not full reign and access, we most definitely can't. And I feel that too was a reflection of their pain. If they can't move in the way that they were moving organically with their abilities, let's say flying or maybe teleporting, if they don't have access to those specific gifts, if those were their gifts, then we can't have access to them, which is why we get injected when we're here as babies. And then there's all this programming from school to different social settings, like church, for example, or other gatherings, just with other people, to what is being put in the food to keep us at a repressed state. Bottom line, if I can't have access to my divinity in its fullness, in the way that I did, no one can. And with each of the areas, sectors of where I feel this energy has come from, it's just all a reflection of that pain, And I guess I was just thinking about it the other day, because I was hurt and still hurt and hurting. I'm going to hurt others. And I do want to share that this isn't every single this may not be any of how they feel, the oppressors. But I really do view it as one big reflection of all of the hurt, all of the pain, all of the confusion, the potential isolation that they felt. Maybe they felt hopeless as well, and angry that they were disconnected and they had no idea how to potentially reconnect. So what do I do with all that anger? How do I release it? Or confusion? I just feel it's just been one big mirror. Because I really have asked myself, why? Why? Yes, I've educated myself on these videos of what happened and then them forming an alliance, but just what the deeper reason why? And I feel that is a part of the equation, is the pain. All of the pain that they experienced, that in some way, shape, or form, we are now experiencing and have, for years, ever since this matrix was fully designed in the physical as well as within the astrals. So those are my thoughts on how I have been viewing this illusion. And again, it's not all of them, may not be any of them. Some of them I feel with the spirits that I have been able to pick up on in some of these temporary human vehicles just want to cause chaos to cause chaos. Totally different relationship than I'm feeling pain for being punished, or I'm feeling pain for choosing to leave without realizing what that action would actually feel like and what the, for lack of a better word, terms and conditions would be. And now I feel a bunch of pain and confusion. So that's just my thought, I guess, that I had, that I wanted to make a video on and share. I see that this is now at 17 minutes and I feel it's a little long. So I am going to end this video here and say I want to send peace and harmony to all 9 ether beings who are remembering who they are. I said this in a previous video, but I'm gonna say it again because I saw it in a different video and I want to pass on the message again. If you haven't, pray to your angels. Pray for their protection, for their peace, for their harmony. Because with all that you are experiencing in this physical, they are going up against all of that and potentially more in the spiritual to make sure that you are protected and guided. So send out a little prayer to your guardian angel tonight. I'm gonna send peace and love and end this video here. Thank you for watching.